Hello everybody, this is Mrs. Brooks here. I thought I would read The Wild Girl by Chris Wormell. Okay, I hope you're all sitting comfortably. Okay, this is a story of a little girl and a small brown dog who lived all alone in the wilderness. The little girl had no one to brush her hair or wash her face or tie her shoelaces like you do. So her hair was a terrible mess and her face quite grubby. She had no shoelaces to tie because she had no shoes, but her feet had tough soles that were quite used to stepping on sharp stones, so she didn't need them. The small brown dog had fleas. I expect the little girl did too. The little girl never went to school because, of course, there were no schools in the wilderness. She had to learn things for herself. The small brown dog learnt too. There were no shops, so they couldn't buy food. They had to hunt for it. Sometimes they caught trout. And cooked them over a little fire of twigs. Sometimes they gathered berries and roots. They even ate insects. They lived in a cave high up on the side of a mountain. From there they could look out and see far, far away, almost to the edge of the world, and in all the wide wilderness the little girl never once saw the smoke of another fire curling up into the sky. Sometimes she called out, but never heard a reply, save for the echo of her own voice, calling back from the far mountain tops. When the small brown dog barked, he was puzzled. There seemed to be lots of other dogs all around the mountains, but he could never see any of them. On warm summer nights, the little girl and the small brown dog slept out under the stars. Then, in the autumn, they gathered dry bracken and made a big nest at the back of the cave. It was cosy and snug, and mostly it was warm. But in the coldest weather, they often kept a fire burning through the night. Here you can see the little girl and her dog. One winter's day, the little girl and the small brown dog were collecting firewood when they came upon tracks in the snow. Big tracks, bare tracks, tracks heading towards the cave. They followed the tracks, and when they reached the cave, the small brown dog began to growl, but the bear had gone. Inside, they found the bracken nest that squashed flat. The small brown dog began to growl again. He could smell bear. They were certain the bear would come back, and it did. That night there was a blizzard. The wind howled and the snow began to pile up in drifts outside the cave. And as the girl and the small brown dog watched the storm, they saw a great dark shape coming up the mountainside. Soon the shape filled the mouth of the cave. The bear would have come right in, but the little girl and the small brown dog barred the way. This was their cave, and no one could take it from them, not even a big bad bear. They would fight for it. The bear could easily have brushed them aside with a paw, but it didn't. It looked down at them with strange, sad eyes, then turned and left the cave. The small brown dog barked, and the little girl cried out in triumph and threw a snowball after the bad old bear as it disappeared into the stormy night. Then they heard a sound from the cave behind them, and creeping out from the darkest corner behind the squash bracken nest came a tiny bear cub. The little girl realised that the bear was not a bad bear after all, just a mother bear looking for her cub. She dropped her spear and ran out into the blizzard, calling after the mother bear, but she was gone and the falling snow covered the tracks. There you can see the little girl calling for the bear. After a while it stopped snowing. The wind broke up the clouds and the moon shone down on the wide, lonely wilderness. There was no sign of the mother bear. The little girl turned and trudged back up to the cave. The snow had drifted deep, too deep for short legs, and she carried the small brown dog under one arm and the tiny bear cub under the other. You can see the little girl with the brown dog and the little bear cub. And who should they find sitting waiting by the cave but the mother bear? That winter, the cave high up on the mountainside was the snuggest, warmest place in all the wide wilderness. But by the spring, they all had fleas. Okay, I hope you like listening to that story. I'll read you some more soon. Bye for now.